All right. Kickstart your career in finance. This is Andrew Stotz, and I'm going to be talking to you about the internship and many other things that are going on in finance. Welcome everybody, and feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to go through and talk about some stuff, but the main way that I want you to interact in this is feel free to type in any question that you have. So before we do that, what I want to ask is for anybody as you come on to type in what city or country you're in. So I am in Bangkok, beautiful Bangkok, Thailand. So make sure to type in where you're from. I'm in Bangkok. So welcome everyone. This is Andrew Stotz, and we're going to be talking about the internship that I've recently posted for virtual online internship. But we'll also be talking about careers in finance and the like. So we're going to go through all of that. So I want to welcome everybody in. We're just waiting for a little bit till people come. There's Momin says welcome, and there's Kapil says from Birmingham. All right. It's been a long time since I've been to Birmingham. Yep, nice to see you. And for others, just type in where you are. So we've got, yep, let's see. So first we see Kapil there, Birmingham, great. And also we've got Ashhat, who is in beautiful India, of course. I haven't had a trip to India in a while, but I really had a great time the last time I went to India. And Abhishek is also in India. Welcome. What about others? We've got someone else from India here. This is Chitresh. And we've got someone from, excellent. We got Victor from Botswana. Now, that's a place I haven't been. I would love to go. I actually have never been to Africa, and I hope to get there. I've got a lot of friends. In fact, here's one of my friends right there, Hillary in Lagos. Good to see you. And what about others? So Parin Patel is in Canada, and we've got also My Sam, who's in Pakistan. And we have someone in Egypt. We've got a couple of people in Egypt because I know Momin is here. So Youssef, good to see you. And we've got Mansi in India also. Good to see you. And we've got someone from Germany. Wow, we've got people from a lot of different places. Just type in where you guys are. And let's see, who else do we have here? Yep, so we've got someone else from Nigeria. Yisao. One of the things that I do is I have a podcast and I interview people, and I'm really excited. I got a guy I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow from Kenya, and he's got an interesting message, and I'll be publishing that episode in the next week or two. Also, Farhin, I think we talked by email, by message on online. Yep. And Sushant, India, fantastic. Look at all you guys. You guys are amazing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I want to tell you a story. So first of all, 2 days ago, I woke up about 4 in the morning, as I usually do. And before I do my yoga, I sat down and I wrote a message on LinkedIn. And I did it through my mobile phone. And I wrote on LinkedIn that I'm looking for my next batch of interns. And it's a virtual internship, and it's a global internship. It's an online internship, and anybody can do it from anywhere. And it's a finance internship. I do have internships available for people in marketing and other areas, but finance, let's say, is my specialty. Well, I have to say that only a couple of hours later, I saw an incredible response. And by now, we've had probably about 1,000 people express their interest in the internship. And so first thing, I just felt like I wanted to come out tonight and say thank you to everybody for your interest and your desire. It really gets me excited when I see young people who are fired up about finance and starting their careers. I started my career at Pepsi when I got out of university. I went to work in manufacturing, even though I studied finance. And that time, 3 years I spent working in manufacturing, really gave me a lot of foundation. I believe it made me a better analyst. But I moved to Thailand in 1992, so 32 years ago, to teach finance. I taught finance for a year, and then I became a financial analyst in the stock market. And from that year, 1993, until today, I've been an analyst all my life. And what does it mean to be an analyst? To me, to be an analyst means somebody who is really thinking independently. Now, recently I did a poll, and I think some of my team are on here. So I'm going to ask them to share the link to the poll that we did. And I was asking you and others, and I would like, if you haven't filled in this poll, I would like it if you vote on this poll so that I understand a little bit more about you. So I'm going to ask either Pete or Prao or Momin to share the link to this poll. And also, if you want to share it with me, guys, I can share it also from our side. So just share it with me and I'll share it in there. The reason why I want to do this is that I just want to understand. Now, what I saw so far was that most people said they want to be an investment banker, and other people said they want to be a financial analyst. Some said they want to be a fund manager. But I'm just curious, maybe you can type in the chat, what is your dream job? Just so I can understand what it is that you're interested in. What is your dream job? Type that in the chat while I also go out and get the link so that you can answer your question on that survey. Let's see what you guys. What did you guys type? Hold on. All right. So, yep, investment banker, a quant trader. All right. That's an interesting one. Financial analyst. That's like me. I'm a financial analyst. Another financial analyst. What about others? What's your dream job? All right. Brejas says financial analyst. And Sue Jal says financial analyst. Pradeep, financial analyst. A lot of people want to be financial analysts. That's what I've been all of my career, is a financial analyst. And personally, I love that job. And I love the job because it takes independent thinking. All right, great to see the response is there. So now what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about the internship. And I'm going to do that in just a second, but hold on one second. I'm going to share the link that I was just talking about here. So if you can go to that link and then click the one that's most like what you want. All right. And let's highlight. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Yi Sao, but corporate finance analyst. Yep. Or like a CFO. We also have MySam says private equity. All right. And Youssef says investment banker. And the others keep going with what you guys are wanting, a portfolio manager. All right. So now what I want to do is talk a little bit about the internship. So what I was saying was that I posted and many of you guys applied for the internship. Now I'm going to describe the internship in a little bit more detail now. I've had many interns throughout my life. And what I've learned about internships from all of my interns was that most internships don't bring a lot of value. A small number do, but most don't. Why is that? Because companies bring in interns and then they don't give them training, they don't help them understand things. So unless you got a good boss, you're not necessarily going to get much out of an internship. Of course, if you got an internship at Goldman Sachs, maybe you'd be really, really getting a ton. But for most, you don't get much out of the internship. So the question that I came up with was the idea of how can I bring more to an internship? And that's where I came up with the idea of how could I train young people who do an internship with me intensely so they learn a ton, plus they're working with me to, accomplish different goals and things that I'm trying to do in the world of finance. And that's where I came up with the idea of this internship. Now, the way that this internship works is that you are going to be trained for the first 6 weeks in how to value a company. You're going to get everything I know about it, and we're going to basically put you in the Valuation Masterclass boot camp as your first training for the internship. Now, boot camp's not easy. You're going to have to work your butt off to make sure that you understand how to value a company. Why is this important for the internship? Because the core of what I do is value companies. And I want you to understand how I value companies. The second step, after the 6 weeks that you've completed the training on the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, then you're going to start valuing companies with me. And at that point, we're going to start working on many, many companies. It's as many as we possibly can to create that research. You're going to be able to put your name on it and show that you were involved in creating that research. And therefore, you're going to have a very specific outcome that you can take to a potential employer. Now, the second half of the internship is the second 6 weeks. And in that second 6 weeks, you're going to be working on what we call Valuation Masterclass Professional. You're going to be valuing 9 companies during that time and putting together research reports. You're going to have the model, you're going to have the report, and you're going to be presenting your ideas. The idea is, how do we accelerate the learning that would take years to become an analyst into 6 and 12-week period? Once you've been trained in the way that I value companies, then you'll be able to help me and work with me on that. And that's going to give you all kinds of experience on valuing companies. Now, why is valuing companies important? I would argue that in finance, it is a core function. And that's, if you want to be a fund manager, you may not be valuing companies every day, but you will be needing to understand how other people are valuing those companies. And that's the reason why we focus on that. And so this is the idea of what we're doing with the internship. Now, for you guys, what I'd like you to do is ask any questions as I'm going through this, and I'm going to answer those questions and keep explaining things so that you understand. But we did get some questions that I want to answer. The first one that comes in is, when do we get the results for the essays? Okay. Well, before I give you the answer to that, what I thought about is that when I get 1,000, let's say I get 1,000 people who want to apply for this internship, I need to focus on the people that are the best. Are you the best? You may be becoming the best, but I need the best. And so what I've done is I basically given you first a test. You got to pass the test. It's a test about basic finance. This is because I don't want someone to come into my internship that hasn't got some foundation in finance. So that's the first step. The second step is you've got to submit an essay. Now, I want to give you a little bit of inside tip on the essay. Number one, do not use AI. Number two, keep it short. You don't have to go long. And number three, share your feelings. Don't use AI, keep it short, and share your feelings. If you do those 3 things, it's highly likely that you're going to pass the second step, which is the written, to send in a writing about the assignment that we give you. So that's the second step. The next step after that is video submission. But before we get to that, all of those submissions of the written story come into my email, and I go through each one of them, and the result is I'm going to accept some and I'm going to reject others. And I'm going to first reject any of them that were written with AI. It's so easy to see if something's written with AI. The minute we see it, you're going to get a reject for it. So that's the second step. And if you have already submitted your written work, then I would say that it should be within 12 hours that you're going to get an answer to that. If you don't get an answer within, let's say, 12 hours, then feel free to write back to me either on LinkedIn or on my email. And my email, just so you know, my personal email, so you can ask me any question. I'm going to type it into the chat here. My personal email is me@andrewstotz. So you can send me any message there if you're confused about it. All right. Now, so hopefully that answers the question that we got from uh, Shireen, and that is, when do we get the result for the essay? You should get the result within 12 hours maximum. If you haven't, please send me an email at me@andrewstotz and I'll reply to you. So I like this. Somebody completely agrees. I can't remember what it was that I was talking about that you agree with, but I like you already because you agree. No, just kidding. That's just kidding. A good analyst doesn't just agree with everything. But anyways, all right, let's see. So the next question comes from Sujal, says, what will be the timings? I'm not exactly sure what timings you're talking about, but I'll just go through the application process. The first thing is that the internships will be awarded. So as I say, I just woke up a couple of days ago and put this out. We've done internships before with a much longer time horizon as far as application is concerned. But these will make our decision about the internships by Thursday or Friday, and then you'll get notification, and then you'll start the internship on Monday. So the next question that I want to answer that hasn't been asked, but it's important, is this a part-time or a full-time internship? It is full-time. If you're working or doing other things, you won't be able to complete this internship because this internship is tough. Now, here's I actually don't know who the user is that wrote this because it says LinkedIn user, but they said, I remember I almost hit the bell and called it quits because I could not drive the Ferrari, but the boot camp was fun by itself. Yes, well, that the boot camp is incredible amount of value that you'll be getting and a lot of learning that you would do. Now, let's look at the next one. Let's look at the next question. Keep your question coming. Okay. I passed the test but didn't receive any link for the essay. That is strange. You should have received an email. I think Momin is on this call, and Momin can mention, as Momin mentions, check your spam box, because the email that we sent in reply may have gone to your spam or other box. Check your spam box and then let us know. If you didn't find it in spam, then you can send an email to me@andrewstotz and I'll try to find it. Another question that's coming from Kapil, what are the number of candidates to be selected? That's a good question, Kapil. I'm not exactly sure right now. And the answer to that is, the reason why that is because I've been overwhelmed by the amount of response by you guys, and you're awesome. And some of the candidates are just absolutely great. So I don't know, but I would say if I had to give a range, it'll be somewhere between 10 and 30 interns that I'm going to bring in. But remember, the internship is hard and it takes 12 weeks. So it takes a real commitment. And I know that some people won't be able to survive. If you think you won't be able to survive, then I would say don't come into the internship because it is going to be tough. All right, let's look at the next question that we got, and feel free to ask any question. Pradeep says, will it be a paid internship? Unfortunately, I do not pay for the internships, but I do provide you with about $2,000 worth of value through the training and the time that you're going to spend with me. But I think that there are some people who really need to get an internship that's paid. And I would say there's a lot of very great big banks and other institutions that do pay for internship, but they may not give you the level of training. But for mine, I don't do pay, but that's just the way I do it. Feel free to ask any other questions about that. The next question is, where can I find a link for the essay? I just joined the webinar. Okay, I think Ram, you need the link. You need the link to apply, and I'm going to ask Momin to include the link here so that you can apply. He has put it in here, and you can see it's a link that says astotz.kartra.com/page/ this one. So you'll be able to see that. Make sure to go that. Oh, and I just saw. So go to the link that has that in there, and you'll be able to click on it. I did just see that Marcus. So Marcus was one of our students in the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp. Marcus is in South Africa, and Marcus is a total fighter. The guy came into the boot camp and really didn't have a super strong background in finance and valuation and all that, and just persisted until he passed the boot camp. So, Marcus, it's great to see you. Great to see you. All right, let's see what else. So, other questions that we've got. I got to reply my essay and request for a 1-minute video. Does that mean I'm selected? That means that you are selected to go to the next step. Remember, there's 3 steps. Pass the exam, number 1. Number 2, submit the written assignment. And number 3, submit the 1-minute video. After you've submitted the 1-minute video, you're done with the process. And now it's up to us to make our decision and evaluate that video. When you do the video, I want to encourage you, you don't have to get super professional and dressed up and all that, but I want you to be yourself, be natural, just like I'm talking to you right now. That's the type of intern that we want to work with, someone who's natural, fun to talk to and all that. So just be yourself, and you'll find out. Now, one thing about that, we have not awarded any internships yet. We're waiting until we get everybody's application over the next, let's say, 24 hours before we start giving you notices that you've gotten the internship. So we have not issued any internships so far, but we will. And Momin mentioned we're going to review your video. And also, Namashri says, can it be resent? I'm not sure if that's the case, but Momin will work on that. Let's see. Here we can see, I sent my essay this morning at 8 a.m. Please, can you check my essay and let me know if I would be selected? Yes, we're a little bit behind because remember, we had 1,000 people enter into this. So we will get to it. And if you don't hear from us in the next, let's say, 12 hours, then feel free to send another message to us using my email. Next one comes from Sai. It says, are we supposed to submit our resume at any stage? What level of finance knowledge are we expected to have for this internship? The answer is no. You don't have to submit your resume because we're testing you in the first step when you take the exam. And ultimately, from my perspective, I don't care too much about your resume. I care about your passion, your exciting, and all of that. Parin says, I think only 30 people is very less. 30 people is a huge number for me to manage. But the truth is that if I find that we have more and more people that are qualified, I will consider it. Now, I want to stop here and just talk about why people would do an internship anyways. What is the value? I think that the value of an internship is figuring out what you like to do and what you don't like to do. And by doing activities through an internship, it's a low-risk way of testing out whether you like to do this. More importantly, is to get a job. Now, my challenge to all of my interns is I want you to make it to the end of the 12-week period. Go through all the training that I'm giving you, doing all the assignments that I'm giving you, and the help that you're doing for us as we work together throughout the internship. But what I want to do is help you get a job. Either get a job with me and come and work with me, which would be great. But also, if you want to work at a company, chances are I know someone who knows someone who knows someone who works there through my relationships in CFA and my other relationships in finance. So ultimately, I want to be your mentor and your supporter who's helping you to get that job. But I only help the students and the interns who can make it all the way to the end. And it ain't easy. It isn't easy. Now, I do want to mention now for the ladies in the group, ladies who are here, what I would like to mention is that we do have a partner, and that company is called AWR Lloyd, and they have hired one or two of our students from the boot camp in the past, and they are looking for people in various countries across Asia. I think Momin knows the countries, and he may include those countries in the chat, but I believe that that for any of the women out there who are trying to build a career in finance, you got special attention from us and from our partner, AWR Lloyd. But for everybody, I'll do my best to try to help you to make sure that you get the most out of it. So is there a minimum age and education requirement to be eligible for the internship? Well, I can say that the youngest person I've had was 18. And in fact, she was 16 when she did her first internship with me. Now, she happened to be in Thailand, where I am. And so she came and worked with me at my office when she was 16. She was brilliant, I'm telling you. She was a Thai woman who was studying in Singapore. And then she came and did the internship with me, and she helped me a ton. And she's now become a very successful young lady. So generally, I don't have like a major minimum age and education requirement. You got to pass the test, and you got to have that passion for learning. Another question that came in, do we need any work experience for the internship? Well, that's a great question and a great point. That's the problem. When you study in university and you're trying to graduate and get a job, what does the company say? You got to have experience. One of the things that we're trying to solve is give you real life experience in valuing companies. And by doing that, basically, that gives you and giving you tangible evidence of the number of valuations that you did. Imagine if you went into a job and they said, well, do you have experience? And you say, well, I worked as an intern. And they'll say, oh, that's just an internship. Well, here's the 10 companies that I valued in the 12 weeks that I worked with Dr. Andrew Stotz. Holy crap, that is serious. They're going to see that and say, wow, you really are committed to that. So you don't need any work experience or anything like that. This is one way of kind of cracking the code to get that work experience. Another question, what about 1 month alternative internships mentioned on the landing page? I don't actually remember that moment. I'm not sure if we've got that on the landing page, but it's a 12-week, 3-month one. Sushant, if you want to send me an email about your idea, feel free to do that. But generally, what we're talking about is we need young people who are totally committed for 3 months to learn everything they possibly can. And then I'm going to do everything I can to do to help you get a job. As you said, it's going to be 12-week internship. I wanted to ask, are you going to hire the best candidates post-internship for a full-time role? I would like to. Now, my business is not huge. It's not like I can hire 30 people into my company. But I would say if you look at all the people that are in my business, almost all of them have come because they were a student in the past. So definitely, I'll be talking to the best candidates that have made it to the end about working together. And you can work remote from your home for those that want to do that, or other ways. But what I would say, though, is if I can't hire you because I can only hire so many, then my goal is to work with you. I'll have a one-on-one with you as your mentor to figure out where you want to work, and then I'm going to help you to reach out to those people. So let me continue. Does your firm provide these kind of finance internships year-round? Yes, we do this year-round. So if you're really busy this time, look for the next one coming up. We haven't announced it, but we will do it again, and we have done it before. So yes, we will. Remember, if you've got questions, now's the time to ask them. If you got any concerns or anything. Okay, so we see I sent an essay using another email mail tray, but I haven't gotten a reply since yesterday. Okay, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you can try to resend it. I'm not exactly sure how to handle that. Or you can send an email to me at Andrew Stotz, and then once you send it to me, say that I haven't gotten a response, and then I'll search to see if I've gotten your information. Okay. Victor says, please explain the scholar of $24.99. Okay, so because there's 1,000 people who have applied to get the internship, I know for sure I can't give all 1,000 an internship. It's impossible. In fact, even giving an internship to 30 people is going to be a huge challenge for me. And therefore, what I've done is I've said that if you weren't accepted for the intern, I'm going to give you a scholarship opportunity to enter into the valuation masterclass boot camp at $99. And I'm doing that just as giving you something to say, I appreciate you and I appreciate that you have applied here. And so that's what that's about. You don't have to take it. And if it's not interesting for you, no problem. If you have questions about it, you can reply by the email. Moment says, you got an email already with the scholarship offer because you said that you don't have time. Okay. So that's okay. Namashri, that was your reply that you already got. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Next one. Success. I'm an undergraduate. From what you said, sir, about the internship being full-time, I don't think I'd be applying anymore. But, sir, could you let me know any other internships that are probably part-time to fit into my undergraduate schedule? So you have two options right now. I don't have a part-time internship right now, but next time that the internship comes around, then success, you should apply. The second thing is that you should have gotten offered a scholarship for Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp. That is a part-time thing. If you really want to learn valuation, then consider joining that. All right. Moment says, here are the countries and the numbers. So our partner named AWR Lloyd is looking for 5 people to interview in India, 5 for other countries in Southeast Asia, 5 for Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia, and 5 for Vietnam, and 5 for Indonesia. And so they're looking for women who have passed the boot camp at least or the internship, and they want to interview them. So that will be once you come into the internship, I will do a one-on-one with you, and we'll get a picture of what it is that you want to do. Parvin says, if you don't have time, you get an offer. Yes. If you tell me I can't do internship, I don't have time, you will get an offer. So make sure that you submit. Now that, first of all, Parin, have you taken the exam? That's the question. That Moment, I'm going to let Moment try to answer that, and you can go through that. Okay, so Namashri says, Moment replied saying, I have time. I'm passionate to train. Okay, so Namashri, you do have, if you do have the 12 weeks available, then let's continue on, and I'll tell Moment about that. Kapil says, as you said, it's going to be 12 weeks. I wanted to ask, okay, are you going to hire? Yes, as I mentioned that one already. So hold on one second. Namashri says, Moment said, Namashri, make sure to drop Moment an email, and he'll give an answer to that. Shashant says, Moment says, Shashant, I think you are talking about the boot camp for 6 weeks. That could be what you're talking about. Okay, Moment will consider your application for sure. That's part of the reason why I wanted to have this event, because I also know that there can be some confusion or some mistakes. So feel free to shout out if you want to be heard, and then we'll look at it. Okay, Sai says, I recently came across your profile on LinkedIn as this post popped up in my feed. I'm really inspired by your career trajectory. I wanted to know what kept you going in the area of finance for so many years. Sai, that's a good question. First of all, I love finance. I really enjoyed being an analyst. I enjoyed learning about companies, learning about finance, learning about management, learning about how to value companies. I was also teaching finance my whole career as I was working in finance. But also, one of the things, Sai, that I've seen with young people these days is that they work so long hours. And I never work long hours. I work from 6:30 in the morning until, let's say, or 7 in the morning until maybe 5:30 or 6 p.m. at night. I never worked all night. I didn't want to be like an investment banker myself. I wanted to be a financial analyst. But I highly recommend that all of you make sure in your career that you set the boundaries with your boss and your job to say to yourself, I'm going to be out of here by 5:30 or whatever. Ultimately, you can still build a great career that's ethical, that's not overwhelming, and that provides you with a ton of learning. And that's what I did. And that's what I try to encourage people to do. I'm not sure if I answered that question, so you can try to ask it, in more detail. Yep, Shushant says, yep, maybe. I'm email you, but no response. So Momin will work on that also. Yep, we'll respond. The next question says, how to prepare for the quiz, essay, and video. I don't think you need to prepare for essay and video. I think you need to prepare for the quiz. Basically, you're going to click on the link and you're going to want to take the quiz right now. But I want you to think about it, prepare yourself a bit, and then take it slowly. You don't have to rush through the quiz. As far as the essay is concerned, like I said, don't use AI and talk about your feelings. Just be real. That's what we want to see. So the question is, do we have a letter of recommendation provided at the completion? Absolutely. And it's a beautiful letter of recommendation saying that I can stand by, that you have these specific skills. Because remember, I'm training you and I'm giving you practice. I know exactly skills that you've got. So yes, you will get a beautiful letter of recommendation. What kind of companies do you value? Mid-size will require modeling skills. Now, you're going to be using my financial model. So you're going to learn about how I model. You may decide in the future that you'll build your own models, and you may have already been building your own models. But for the purposes of what I'm going to train you, it's how to use the model that I've created. Yes, there's a lot of mid-sized companies that we value, but there's also large. So I would say any type of company it can be. So, and if you find a company that you think is interesting, we may talk about that. Next question. Well, what was your biggest challenge while valuing a company? The number one challenge in valuing a company is coming up with a forecast that's accurate. And the number one issue to me about forecasts is what is happening with the return on invested capital and the growth of this company. As long as they can keep growing at the same high level of return on value invested capital, then you've got an absolute winner. And so understanding that in the forecast is probably biggest. Okay, another one. I have a question unrelated to the internship. Absolutely, ask that question. Please do. All right, I'm trying to keep up with what you guys are saying, so hold on. Is there any way I can contact you personally, maybe accept my connection? I can't accept any more connections on LinkedIn. I've run out because you're only allowed to have 30,000. So the best thing to follow is to send me an email. This email will go directly to my personal email, and I will see it. And so you can write to me there. Let me just type that in right there. All right, let's keep going through the questions. Hold on. Hold on. You guys got a lot of questions. Molman says, yes, you'll get a letter of recommendation. All right. Yusuf, do we learn different multiples? Those are really the two, and you need to get those down. I do talk about some other methods and teach about them and use them, but generally it's focused on those. Now, if you have another method and you want to bring that in, feel free. That would be great. That would be great. Will we be getting a certificate of reference for the boot camp? Yeah, because you're going to be trained in the boot camp, you're going to also get a certificate of completion and my reference for you having passed the boot camp and valuation masterclass professional. Going to take after this is live. Yep. All right, good. And when will we hear back after the essay? It should be within 12 hours, hopefully 12 hours. You should get it. Yeah, so I had my letter of recommendation and one-on-one with Dr. Stotz to understand my strengths and weaknesses better. Yeah, when you get to the end of the first 6 weeks, I'm going to have a one-on-one with each of you guys to try to understand what your desires are and help you, right? What date is the 6-week boot camp slated for? It starts on Monday. So we're up for the boot camp now. What is that got you interested in the field of finance? What made you go for financial analysis over the other options like hedge funds or IB. How did you get a kickstart in finance? Any tips for the newbies like me? Um, I I stumbled on my job as an analyst. I just saw an ad in the newspaper and I applied. And this was 1992, 1993. I applied and I got the job. So I just took the job and I became an analyst from that day. But once I became an analyst, I realized I loved it because being an analyst is all about really about thinking about stuff more deeply and more carefully than most people and becoming an expert on a subject. And I just loved being an expert. And that's really how I came into it. I didn't have any choice at that time to be IB. I just had a job offered to me as an investment analyst. And so I did that. And that I didn't kickstart it. I just applied and I got the job. But the most important thing that I would highlight to you for newbies is passion. If you don't have passion for what you're doing, everybody's going to notice it. And so you really do want to make sure that you've got passion for what you're doing. All right. Next, Farhin says, I failed the test, but I really want to learn finance. Is there any possibility where I can get in and learn? I'm passionate about learning. Yeah. If that's the case, if you fail the test, the problem is that if somebody fails a test, I can't bring them into an internship because I'm investing so much time and energy. But that's why I offer the scholarship, because you can come into the boot camp at $99 and start to learn with me and get the one-on-one with me. So I would highly recommend that. But Farhin, if you have more questions about that, feel free to ask here. The question from Yassine says, is the internship, is that going to be remote? Yes, it's going to be remote. You'll be working from your home or your office or wherever you are. It is full time, so you got to make sure that you've got time. But some people want to work remote, and I have a lot of work to give out for people who are remote. The next one says, any prior skills for this internship? The main prior skills is finance, but if you've got some skills in Excel and all that, that would be great. So hold on, let's see. Next one, will we be able to access any specific software like Bloomberg during the internship? I don't use Bloomberg myself. I use Refinitiv, and it's extremely expensive to use Refinitiv. So what you'll be able to do is you'll get access to that data, and then we'll be going on it. So you won't be able to access it yourself. But if you needed data or wanted data, let me know and we'd work on it. Hillary says, I wasn't able to view the stream for the first 20 minutes. Jeanette from Rwanda, great to see you. I hope to see you. Moment says, as an accountant, you can apply. Yes, you can apply. How are you going to work across time difference? Like you're in Thailand, I'm in Canada, it's 7 p.m. So you start your lessons in the morning. Now, most of the lessons that I'm going to be teaching you are video and assignments. So time difference is not a problem. You're going to watch a video and then you're going to have some assignment. So we have students as well as interns from all around the world. So now when we choose our one-on-one time or we work together on something, then we'll pick a time that works for you and for me. The other thing is that I wake up about 4 a.m. and a lot of times my colleagues like Moment, who's in Egypt, is finishing and I'm just getting ready to start. So when we're working on a project, working across time zones works just fine. All right. Can I have the application link for the boot camp? Yes, Moment can put that in. All right. Wow, we went through a lot of stuff there. I want to ask you if you've got any other questions. Let me know. I'm happy to answer any more questions. But ultimately, what we want to do is we're working hard here to try to get through all the applications that have come in. We have not made any decisions on the interns yet, but we will be making that decision very, very soon. Namashri says, during this internship, any opportunities for us to network with fellow finance peers? Definitely, you're going to be in a community with all the other interns and other of my staff and others. So yes, you will, right? All right. Farhan says, yeah, Moment, help me out. And so Moment, maybe you and Moment should talk a little bit. Momin can give some ideas and some thoughts on that. All right. What skills are required? What finance skills? Just general. You've got to have some general background in finance, but it doesn't have to be a lot. Which brings me to the next question, which Success asks is any prior skills for boot camp 2? There's no real strong requirement because I try to start from zero, from scratch, to help you to learn right from the basics all the way up to advanced. So yeah, there's no strong skills. I mean, if you have a finance or accounting degree, that helps. All right, other questions? I feel like I've talked for a long time. It's 45 minutes now, and I appreciate you. You guys have asked a lot of questions, but feel free. You've got my email now. You can reach out if you've got a problem or an issue. We're always available. We're not the type of people that are like a machine and say, no, you can't communicate. So feel free to reach out. As I said, I can't add anybody else on, I can't connect with people on LinkedIn, but you can send me a message. Another question, keep your questions coming. Please specify some of the finance skills for non-finance students. Well, you've got to understand some basic ratios. You've got to understand what is a P&L, a profit and loss statement, what's a balance sheet, and some of those basic stuff. That's the main thing that we're testing for. Brijesh says, are we specializing on DCF analysis in boot camp? Yeah, I would say, Brijesh, what I think is that I like free cash flow because free cash flow helps me to understand the fundamentals of the business, and in particular, the amount of capital that's required for this business. You're going to learn about me when you do the internship that I have a coffee factory in Thailand as well as being an analyst. And in the coffee factory, part of my job as, taking care of the finance aspect of the business is to make sure that we don't have too much investment needed to get the future growth of the business. And that's the concept of free cash flow. And so we will be looking at free cash flow quite a bit. Following on from the time zone question, will lessons delivered be focused more on the Asian market or a mixture of global and specialized market? This is a good question. Now, most courses, I think that's out there as well as textbooks, are US centric. They've been written for the US market and then they add on some international stuff. But I left America 32 years ago and I've been living in Thailand ever since. And so when I look at the world, I look at it as global, and US is one country of many. And therefore, we look at companies all across the world. The last time we had an internship, we looked at companies like LVMH and Hermes and others. Now, where we do have some problem is someone says, oh, can we look at a Nigerian company? Well, because there's not that many companies listed on the stock market, I don't have great data on that. It's harder to do it in smaller markets. So that gives you an idea. All right. Yep. So Namashri says, fingers crossed. I'm really interested. You're definitely going to learn a lot. So Momin will be following up with that. All right. Let's see. Currently pursuing CFA along with my undergrad. Will this internship help me in having practical knowledge about topics of CFA exam? Well, I was the president of CFA Society Thailand, and I've also taught ethics and other areas of CFA. And I always tell young people to do the CFA exam right after university because work experience doesn't really add that much to passing the CFA exam. Because, excuse me, CFA exam is very wide, a lot of material, a lot of topics. And so when you really work in one area deeply. But to answer your question, of course, you're going to be learning a ton. And I would say in the corporate finance area of CFA, you're going to learn a ton in this. And in course, also in the valuation or equity valuation, right? Let's see. Also, there's a question about a stipend. As of right now, Joel, I don't have a stipend. As I said, I know that some of you guys need to make money. And my first thing is that I highly recommend that you go for an internship at a company that can do that, There's many of them out there that can. In addition, as you go through the boot camp, hopefully, and through the internship, hopefully you're someone that I could conceivably hire, and then we can pay you regularly. What are you looking for in the video submission round? Um, in the video submission round, we're trying to understand. Imagine, Shreya, we have maybe 100 videos submitted. So you want to think about what makes you stand out. Why should we pick you over another person there? It could be about your story, about your past. It could be about some accomplishments. But ultimately, the question that we're going to ask is, should we pick this one instead of that one? And that's what you try to answer in a very short video. Parin says, I'm in my second year of university. I have a long 4-month break and I need to do something. I really need this. Yep, we'll work with you. So Momin will follow up with you. I know what it's like to want to get as much as you can in a break time. So I appreciate that. All right. Are there any other questions? If you've got any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. I'm always there on LinkedIn. You can message me or comment and tag me, and I will get it and I will respond. I don't always respond right away, but if it's urgent, just send me a message at me@Andrew Stotz. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining, and I appreciate all the questions that you guys got. You guys are often awesome, and I want you to keep, trying. Whether you get into this internship or not, I hope that you can find the same pleasure and excitement that I found in the field of finance, and you'll be able to get that happiness in your life of having a job that you love, and that's really the most important thing. I'll wrap it up by looking at the last question from Raj Vardam. Says, how many will be selected? I don't know the answer. I didn't expect to get so many people applying, but let's say between 10 and 30 maybe is the answer. All right, that's it. You guys be awesome, be great. I hope to see you in the internship or otherwise see you in some other areas. And I hope that you are building an awesome career in finance, a lot like I had. Have a great evening. I'm going to go to bed. It's 8 o'clock at night. I sleep super early, so I get up really early. So let's have an amazing evening and make sure to eat healthy, sleep healthy, and have happiness in your life.